John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It's speaking about them in unison, because, you know, Jesus Christ is the Son of God, and being the Son of God, the Father, the Almighty, makes him God. You everybody understand that? God begot God, right? And people in this world, they talk about finite and infinite, and they can understand God, and you can't understand this because he don't beget because he's God. People don't understand God. You know, people don't understand God because God himself told you that people don't understand God. Christ in St. John chapter 17 prayed to God the Father and said, "O righteous Father, the world have not known thee." Now, if it's coming out of the mouth of the Son of God, do somebody know who know their Father? God. Huh? God. Especially to somebody that knows everything. To somebody that knows everything is Jesus Christ, right? God. And what he said was, the world do not know thee. Then you go to St. John chapter 8, and you had, now these are religious leaders. These are Israelites now that was leading the nation of Israel, but they went off and became wicked. And the Lord our God sent out the prophet Malachi to prophesy against this particular priesthood. Under the Mosaic law, under the law of Aaron, which is known as the Levitical priesthood, with just the Levites being priests. And they became corrupt. So during that time, the Lord our God sent Malachi out, and the prophet Malachi, and stated to those priests at that time that the Lord was going to do, he was going to do away with that priesthood, that the priesthood needed to be changed. And because they wouldn't give honor to the name of God. So that's why the order of Melchizedek, that order is set up to make sure that the priesthood is trained. That's why you can't be in the order unless you train. The priesthood is trained to give honor to the name of God. Everybody got that, right? Go to the book of Psalms chapter 2. I guess my topic done started, huh? I'm not taking no suggestions no more. Let's just finish fast. Psalms chapter 2. Go to the book of Psalms chapter 2. And start at verse 8. Psalms chapter 2, verse 8.
Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen.
Read it one more time.
Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen.
How many want the heathen? What you want the heathen for? Huh? What kind of occupation you gonna give to the heathen? Butlers and nurses, right? Right? Trying to sit in class, you need somebody to hold them kids, don't you? Yeah, right? I see somebody shaking their head like, yeah, you're gonna need somebody to hold their kids. Read Isaiah 60, okay? You know, that's what the prophecies and the word of God is all about. You know, our children is going to be nursed, you know, by, you know, our side, which means somebody else is going to be carrying them. Do everybody understand that? Everybody got that, right? So the Lord is saying, if you want the heathen, just ask. It's that easy. Everybody understand that? Just ask. How many y'all ask for the heathen? No, you ain't. Yeah, right. You be asking for the heathen? Yeah, just ask. That's how the Lord put it. Just ask. Go to the whole lot and get the book of Revelations chapter 2. And in Revelation chapter 2, see, it's pretty consistent all throughout the Bible. It's the same message that God he was given throughout generations and time, because he's the everlasting God. He's the God that has always been here. He's the God that will always exist. So he don't change. He didn't change the message. And as people came back and forth into the earth throughout their generations, they had to relearn the message. Do everybody understand that? Because the word of God reapplies. So the message is the same. And the message has always been, ask of me and I will give thee the heathen for thy inheritance. That's always been the message. Everybody understand that? Abraham got that message. Jacob got that message. Isaac got that message. Jacob got that message. The 12 tribes of Israel got that message. All the kings of Israel and the judges of Israel got that message. All the priests got that message. Jesus Christ came and gave the same message. And now it's time for you to get that message. Why is it time for you to give that message? Because you're actually living in a time where you are in the generation that's going to inherit the heathen. How many of y'all know that? How many of y'all know that? How do you know that? What prophecies? The whole, the book of the prophets is the prophecies. How do you know that? You ain't getting no, I don't let you off that easy. I just want, I want to let everybody in here know that you got to tell me something specific. What prophecies let you know that you are in a generation that these things are actually going to go down and that these things are going to take place in?
Matthew 24.
Okay, anybody else? I heard some of the chapters. That's good. Anybody else? Okay, I'm gonna ask you a harder question. I'm gonna ask you a harder question. I'm gonna hit you with some new breakdowns. I always got some stuff up my sleeve. Yeah. Now I'm gonna ask you another question. What year? Hold this, and give me Ecclesiastes 1. Give me Ecclesiastes 1. Spirit is actually feeling, so now y'all gotta disperse. Yes. Thank you. Give me Genesis. Give me Ecclesiastes 1. They gotta leave because I usually swing and get wild, so I don't want to hit nobody here. I usually get wild up here when the spirits start coming down, but yeah, might have to put the fire out. Actually, yeah, move the flames. Don't put it out, just like move it, yeah. Ecclesiastes chapter 1. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, let's look at that. And start at the first verse. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 1. Start there, please.
The words of the preacher, the son of David.
Who was the preacher? Everybody. Who was the preacher? Why was he known as the preacher? Because he was teaching the wisdom of God. Everybody got that? Everybody got that, right? Where did Solomon get his wisdom from? Where did he get it from? He found out he could get it where? No other place. So he had to ask, it took wisdom and knowledge to know exactly where to get wisdom from, and it came from God. So speaking the words of God, whenever you speak in the words of God, that's known as preaching. Do everybody understand that? Everybody got that, right? Him being called the preacher don't mean that he actually stood in the midst of a congregation and was teaching classes. Everybody understand that? But everybody came to Solomon to hear everything that Solomon had to say, and everything that he had to say was of God, because the words that he was speaking was the words of God. Everybody got that, right? Okay, read that one more time.
The words of the preacher, the son of David.
The words of the preacher, the son of David. Read on.
King in Jerusalem.
Okay, read on.
Vanity of vanity.
Read on.
Saith the preacher. Vanity of vanity.
Come on.
All is vanity.
All is what?
Vanity.
All is what?
Vanity.
Read on.
What profit have a man of all his labor, which he taketh under the sun? One generation passeth away.
Okay, read that one more time.
One generation passeth away.
Read it again.
One generation passeth away.
Read it one more time.
One generation passeth away.
Read it one more time.
One generation passeth away.
Okay, when I do that, there's a point there, and I want to make sure that you understand that there's a point. The point that we're going on is it's talking about generations leaving this earth. When somebody call you and God forbid and tell you somebody has passed away, what does that mean? What does that mean? So God is talking about people dying in generations. Everybody understand that? That's what he's talking about. Generations die in the same time period because they came in the same time period. Everybody understand that? And if they live their life expectancy, then you can't go past that point. It's going to be time to go out. Everybody understand that? So one generation passeth away. Read on.
And another generation cometh.
And another generation cometh. Everybody see that, right? So while one generation is going out, there's another generation being born in. Everybody understand that, right? A continual cycle. Read on.
But the earth.
Read it one more time.
But the earth.
Read it again.
But the earth.
Read on.
Abideth.
Come on.
Forever.
Okay, so the earth is going to always be here, which means that people is going to always be inhabiting the earth. There's always going to be generations coming out, and there's always going to be generations coming in until the time of the end. Now, if I asked the question earlier, and the question I asked was, how do you know that we are living in a generation that's leading up to the second coming of Jesus Christ? She told me it's because of the prophecies. But guess what? When I say we, who am I really talking about?
Believers. This generation.
But here's the dilemma. We all not in the same generation. See, that's where the dilemma is. See, we have a dilemma. So who am I really talking about? In order to know that, you have to know what time period are we talking about that generation came in. That one generation passed away and another generation was coming in. What generation was coming in that was going to be the generation that was going to be here when Jesus Christ returns? What time period was that? Before we go to that, give me the book of Luke chapter 21. Y'all heard about one generation pass away, right? And another generation cometh, right? But the earth is going to be here forever. So now let's go to the book of Luke chapter 21 and let's see what Jesus Christ said. Luke chapter 21, and we're going to start at Luke chapter 21, and we're going to start at verse 25. Actually, start at verse 24 just to hear that. Just so we can hear verse 24. We're going to start there. I ain't really got no other reason to start there besides wanting to hear that verse. Verse 24, start there.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
Read on.
And shall be led away captive.
Read on.
Into all nations.
Okay, that's why that's where we at now. Okay, this happened. The beginning of it was 70 AD. Everybody understand that? And there's no propaganda like the propaganda of the beast. Do everybody understand that? In other words, there's no lies like the lies of the devil. Everybody got that? Okay, Esau is a liar. Everybody understand that? And the battle has always been between the beast and the Israelites ever since the beast got into power. Everybody understand that? Everybody got that? Everybody got that, right? There always been false prophets. There always been antichrists. But when you read the Bible, you find out that the Antichrist was always a crusty level. Everybody understand that? Those was the ones that the earth opened up and swallowed. Those, they were crust. Everybody got that? During the time of Moses, they was the first ones to go. Then Israel had to contend with the false prophets like Balaam and Balak and all them cats. Everybody understand that? Then those cats got done. Then it was the governments of the kingdoms of the world that the Israelites, that was the last phase right before the Israelites came into power. They had to deal with the governments that were set up. Do everybody understand that? And when you think about what was going on in Rome, when you look at what was happening during the time of Jesus Christ, you had the religious leaders that were known as the Pharisees and the Sadducees that was governing the nation of Israel. And it was time for the prophecies to be fulfilled in the book of Malachi, where the prophet Malachi had prophesied that the priesthood was going to come to an end. So the manifestation of God the Son, Jesus Christ in the flesh, the time came and the time was fulfilled for him to actually be on the planet Earth. And when he came on the planet Earth, he came to set up another order. That order that he came to set up was another priesthood that was going to be set up, that was going to bring back all the tribes of the nation of Israel, and all the tribes of the nation of Israel was going to be able to be priests under that priesthood, which is actually going to be the forerunner that's alluding to the prophecy of Exodus chapter 19 verse 6, when the Lord stated to the children of Israel through Moses that thou shalt be a kingdom of priests unto me. Everybody got that, right? So that had to be fulfilled. So this was leading up to that time. Now the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they got political. They got politically involved with the beasts. And they became the false prophets, but at that time there was also the Antichrist. The Antichrist has always been Israelites that denied Christ. Do everybody understand that? Everybody got that? Has always been. This is why Esau tell the biggest lie about the Antichrist. Who you see Esau talking about most of the time? No, who you see when Esau talk about the devil, who you talk about most of the time? Come on, y'all don't know that? The Antichrist. They always tell you that they waiting on one man to stand up against Christ, the Antichrist. And he got 666 on the back of his head. Why Esau want everybody to focus on the Antichrist? You know the Israelites. Take the focus off of us. How come they ain't talking about the beasts all the time? Or the false prophets? But nevertheless, let me get through this real quick. The Antichrist was defeated fast during the time of Christ in his ministry. He started, and within 3 years, everybody left the churches. Within 3 years, during Jesus Christ's ministry, people were leaving. How do you know that? They were having councils that's actually recorded in the Bible where they was afraid. They said that the whole world is going after Christ. That's why he was still walking on the earth. Do everybody understand that? Everybody got that, right? So everybody was leaving the church. That's what happened with the Israelites. The people leave the church. I ain't talking about the Israelite church of God, Jesus Christ. I'm talking about the church of Satan. And they come to the light. But nevertheless, so they were done quick. The veil of the temple was rent in two. Once Jesus Christ was delivered back to God the Father, letting them know their priesthood was no more. There was no more difference between the holy and the unholy. So now they had to contend with the false prophets as they were going around, as the apostles were going around and teaching. They had to contend with the false prophets. The Pharisees and Sadducees was on a low level. They was already destroyed. And so then after they was dealing with the false prophets, you find out that the beast got involved. The government started getting involved. And that's how the apostles started getting martyred. Do everybody understand that? Everybody got that? And then the real persecution of the church actually started with Nero Caesar. Nero Caesar. He was the biggest liar among that time, where he actually started a fire in Rome and blamed the prospering Israelite church for sparking the fires. And then they went out and they gathered up all the Christians and they were killing a lot of Israelites. And that's how we got scattered throughout the different areas. Do everybody understand that? The ones who knew who the truth was. Now here's the irony in that whole thing. The beast actually had to start getting involved, and the beast is the biggest liar on the planet. Okay, you look at the beast now, George Bush, he's part of the beast, is he not? Through his lies, what happened? Saddam Hussein got hung. So the beast got some lies they can tell. You know, the Antichrist gonna tell some lies, but you know, again, they low levels. The false prophet gonna lie like hell, but again, how effective is it really gonna be? They can deceive people, but the beast will lie on you and have the whole world believing their lies. Say, you got weapons of mass destruction in your seat. I mean, y'all ready to deal with the beast? Have you looking like a complete criminal? I mean, you ready to deal with that? Huh? So the last phase of this battle is with the beast. And what's going to happen is they monitoring the growth. They have always monitored. You go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, and see that God is telling you how the ungodly speaks. And they always monitor the growth of the nation of Israel. And then, you know, they want to come against the nation of Israel and see if God is really for them. Let's see how he delivers them. Do everybody understand that? Everybody got that, right? So now let's go back to the book of Luke chapter 21 and read the 24th verse one more time.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
Come on.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
Read on.
And Jerusalem.
And what?
Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Okay, so what we want to get out of that is the Gentiles have a time, and then their time be fulfilled. This is something, I mean, a lot of times, brothers and sisters, when you're doing unit work or you're trying to convert somebody into the truth, you want to go to the things that's over their head. You don't go to kindergarten and bring people stuff that you learned in college. You understand what I'm saying? You got to realize that the people that you're teaching are on a really, you know, small elementary level when it comes to the Bible and the understanding of the Bible. So you got to keep them. You got to really start dealing with them on the lowest level things that you can teach. The easy stuff. Y'all be trying to get them to see, you know, Revelations chapter 18 and Revelations chapter 10 and Daniel chapter. They're not gonna see that. It takes too much. The easy stuff. This right here is easy. Verse 24. How easy is that? There's a doctrine, there's a teaching in the world about the Gentiles was accepted by God. I got one question. Until when? I'm not even arguing with them. I'm not going to argue. If the Gentiles were accepted by God, until when? What do you mean until when? Until when? When is the Gentiles' time up? Gentiles, they're going to go into the kingdom. Well, that's not what the Bible says. When's their time up? See how easy that is? Read that one more time.
Verse 24.
Come on.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
Come on.
And shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
Read on.
Unto the time.
Until what?
The time.
Until what?
The time.
Read on.
Of the Gentiles.
Read on.
Be fulfilled.
The time of the Gentiles. That means everybody got his time. We go through a billion precepts. Time and chance happen to every man. And the Gentiles got time to rule. If you don't think so, let's take a look and go back through history and tell me what nation didn't rule. The African nations ruled, the Asian nations ruled, what nation didn't rule? We go in the Bible and talk about the kings of Moab and how they was ruling. What nation didn't get a chance to rule? The Arabs ruled. They can't. What the hell Arabs mad about right now? They ruled already. Now the last ones, the ones that was always on the dusty level was the Edomites. And they going back to that level. Everybody got that?